Hey divas and gents, I am Mtdnphilly if you are new, and I am back with another video. This time it's gonna be music, chat, makeup, and just pure sit down fun. I'm actually sipping through a straw some hot tea. This is a detox tea. If you don't know, I'm on a weight loss journey, so if you're a makeup girly and you love to be sun-kissed, I am going to do a full-on tutorial on how you can look sun-kissed and beautiful and glamorous, okay? For me, right now, one of my spring favorites is vintage jewelry. I always start off a good brow by just brushing them up. Upward motions, nothing too crazy, and I really get to see what is a good starting line for building the brows. Also, this is good for plucking and finding little hairs that just really need to go. I also find this a safe way to really see what needs to be plucked versus what does not when you brush your brows upward right before your makeup routine and you just clean it up. I almost never get my eyebrows arched because I don't grow a lot of hair in that area, but aside from that, often it's rarely ever necessary because I always pluck and clean that area. Want to get obsessed with plucking the eyebrows, just enough to make it look really clean and just a nice surface. So what I like to go ahead and do, you can take a damp or dry rag or cloth or something like that, and I'm still going upward, but I'm just removing the oil from the brow area. This is some girls' struggle area, and to be quite honest, other than the wrong shade of foundation, the way your brows look with your makeup can determine how clean and glamorous the look comes out. So if you're a brown girly, I recommend you just grab a brown pencil. Now I do have the mechanical pencil, and that's when it kind of just comes out like that, like so, and it has a brush on the tip. But today we're going to use a more softer pencil. This one comes on a little drier and it's very hard to get it to show up. This will give you a lighter brow, but this one will give you a more realistic brow, and also it has more of a softer pull when you're drawing your brow. So this is something that you can find at the hair store as well. The ones with the little brushes are going to be your best friend because it's very needed. We're going to use this brush a lot in this game. So when it comes to vintage jewelry, I'm hearing that the girls have a false sense that it has some type of spirits in it, that it looks kind of old, that it doesn't make you look youthful. It does. I will say older vintage jewelry to me is glamorous, it's beautiful, it's chic, and it's the opportunity that is very slim right now that you really literally can have a unique look without any effort, because you're wearing a piece from probably your great grandmother or something like that, something that she cherished. You know, I think it's fun. I get mixed reviews when it comes to vintage jewelry, but honestly, a lot of jewelry that I wear, it's either I wear a simple hoop, which is just I'm literally buying the same thing over and over because they're either gold or silver, or I'm wearing a piece of jewelry that I literally had for over 25 years. So I do the connected brow method. This is where you connect your brows so they can be aligned and then you separate. This is the best secret to getting your brows to be aligned. I like to have my palm right here most of the time or within that distance, and that will tell me at each point that my eyebrows are perfectly aligned. And there you are. You can even get lighter right here because you know you're simply just going to wipe it off, but create that guideline. If you create that guideline, you're in there like swimwear. So the second step is to basically start to do light strokes going upward. And in this case, it is okay to go slightly outside of their top line, because we're going to brush it with light strokes and we're going to make it look like it's just hair. Now I do have a little discoloration right here because patches of dry skin just get in that area, and I have not learned the reason why. And I mean, you can get even crazier in the middle. Make as many as, you know, mini to short strokes. These strokes should not be even strokes. Like you see how sometimes I'm going outward. Like I said, you want it to look like natural, like hair. You know what I'm saying? Take the tip of your finger. Notice how I'm moving that makeup literally out of the way with just the tip of my nail. The rest of my finger here is taking off anything that's excess. Already you have this nice crisp line. Don't worry about your eyebrows not being too dark, because you don't want your eyebrows to be stark black. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Lightly taking your nail and just kind of lightly scratch a line that is natural to you. You're only doing that to the bottom, the tip of my nose with my middle finger, and I just smooth my way up. Tip of my nose, and I might roll it a little bit slightly to a tilt. Smooth my way up. Roll it slightly to a tilt. Smooth my way up. Yep. And there we go. And then we just remove whatever is. You can even go back in, double check, make sure it's aligned, double check. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go in with the NYX. I have became a Pinterest girly. I don't know if I've heard that other people are on like either, I want to say, what is another form of Pinterest? Lemonade. I've heard of LMK. I haven't upgraded to using those platforms yet, but I will say that I'm still on Pinterest. If I'm having any type of blockage in terms of fashion and I want some inspiration, whether it's a play on color or texture or something like that, and I'm a little skeptical whether this is going to work or not, I will go to Pinterest as a reference. A lot of my cutest looks and fashions I will post as much as I can in that area. We still have people that use Pinterest as a household go-to when they're doing stuff for certain events, functions, fashion. So I will really get under that brow really, really good. And what happens is I will fan it out with a sponge brush and put a light bit of foundation on my lid. That way it will pick up some color. Being a brown girly, I don't struggle too much with my foundation, but the only part is when I want to try color on my lids other than something that is gold or bronze, which is my favorite. I really sometimes struggle, and what tends to happen is the color doesn't pick up, so I'll put a little bit of concealer that is lighter than my natural skin tone on my lid. So you will find me doing the same type of nature, marrying the concealer, and then once I'm done my color choice, I'll go ahead and break it up just a little bit. The air is starting to feel very beautiful in here. It's a nice breeze coming through my window. The springtime is also an amazing time to open up your window and read a book. Lately, I have been reading really the Bible, and I do want to share some of my favorite Bible verses with you guys. My whole goal is to make my Bible look vintage, old, look like it's worn out, like it's been prayed in and read and respected for quite some time. So I was gifted this Bible from my mother, and over time I have been reading it, and I just love the idea of getting to know my words. Psalms 91, 8 through 10. You will observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you. Notice how I let that concealer sit on my hand for quite a bit of time. The longer you let it sit, the more tacky it will become, kind of sticky, and some of the moisture in it will kind of dry out, and that's really what you want. So we're going to try one of these fun colors. Now this blue, I know it's very pigmented, so I may use this in the very crease of my eye, the outer crease of my eye, and create some type of smoke with color. Notice how everything is kind of a little more layered right here where I want that color to pick up, and it's a little more simplified as we go outward. Palette, I wish I could say exactly where this palette derived from, but honestly, Jesus, I do not know. I cannot remember, but I feel like it's something that I purchased from like a Rite Aid or a Walgreens, so it must be from Covergirl or something like that. This is more of a rounded brush at the tip. It reminds me of like a ball, because at the tip you get like a ball type of shape. This is what I love to use right in the crease of my eyelids, because this is where I like to spread my color evenly. So I like to take a little bit of my color and bring it right over top of my actual fold of my lid, because I don't want the color to sit all in one place. I want you to kind of get a sense that the color was distributed beautifully and it's not just looking gaudy, because blue you can either go too hard on blue or you can do it just right. Because I want to blend this with some colors of like light green and that kind of darker, fun, tealish type of green, I really want to make sure I move this blue around just right. And notice how I do not touch right under here just yet, because I want my brows to look like I literally just stepped out of the shop from getting them waxed. Many circular motions, and then I go back, many circular motions. I've had such an experience at church where I was questioning a lot, a lot of what I was seeing. And I said, should I dive more into this? Because something honestly scared me. I want to say this. I'm not saying take everything as golden, and I'm not saying think that anyone is telling you something false. What I'm saying is read your word. You have to. If not, you're going to adapt to a mindset that was taught to you. And you don't want to adapt to what's taught to you. You want to know what's right. I really just needed to read a couple things, and it just solidified to me to not live in fear, to not be worried, to know that you are covered, to know that you are loved. So as much as I was into a lot of different literature, and I do a lot of different audio, as far as like when I'm sitting and I'm just feeling zen and I'm listening to the birds chirping and the sun is coming through my window, sometimes I'll do an audio book, but sometimes the Bible hits just right. I'm literally trying to cake this on because I know that this color will play me if I don't try to press it into my skin. My skin does tend to get dry in some places, but because I moisturize right before my makeup routine, I know that there's some oils deep under my skin, so where if I press this in just a bit, I'll be able to pick up more color than expected. And with the help of that concealer, I'll be able to get a nice hue on my eyes. I'm trying to pack it in a smooth way. I know I'm going to have to do a lot of cleanup, but that's the only way I know this color is going to have fun on my face. It's like this green, it's powdery green. So beautiful. I'm gonna have to change my top for my thumbnail just for something to pop. You know what I'm saying? It's this bee that literally hangs outside of my window every day. I don't care if there's a storm the previous day, this bee comes right back. The only thing I hate about the summer and spring season is when it's a whole bunch of bugs. I cannot stand insects. But this bee has some type of attraction to me, because even if I go in a yard, the same bee is out there zipping and moving. I can't say if it's a queen bee or what, but when I say the bee really gets on my last nerves, it gets on my last nerves. Yeah. Pick up
place on the way. Where you wanna go, 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 go. Where you wanna go, 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 go. Where you wanna go, 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 go. Where you wanna go.
What is your favorite spring, summer pastime? Some of the things that I love when the weather gets nice is the hood boys. I feel like the hood boys literally lets me know that the weather is good outside. When I hear the four-wheelers, I get excited. That's how I know it's time to put on a cute little outfit, play with some denim, and find yourself a cute little strappy top and have a ball. As a kid, I grew up and was considered the hood. And I grew up not too far from a basketball court, which is really popular. If you Google it, it's Susquehanna basketball court. I lived literally right up the street. And you'll just see me doing the same thing we did to our brows, just to define these eyes a little bit, even though I'm going to go in and clean her up nice. But however, I grew up on this block where we had a basketball court and they used to have leagues where it was a hood league. We would have coaches come out. They would have the girls come out. It would be funnel cake, water ice, and it would be so lit, and they would have it throughout the evening. Kids really weren't supposed to be in there, to be quite honest, because of the fact that it was just an adult atmosphere. At least, like, I want to say 16 and up. You'll have all the boys in there. All the girls will pull up in their shortest shorts, and the guys would have their chest out. They would have pythons around their neck, the coolest sneakers. They would pull up in the coolest cars. And me and my cousin, unless or my mother or my uncle would walk us up the street just to see what was going on, most of the time we'll be sitting on the step just watching the fashion, watching the girls come with their cute looks, and just the guys just melt. You know, like, we would just listen to the music. That's when Little Kim was hot, Biggie Smalls. That's when we had a lot of Big Pun, all of the things. And like, oh my goodness, Nike, Nelly, headbands, bandanas, everything under the sun. It ran from the 80s to the 90s. By the time the 2000 came, the Susquehanna basketball games was like almost no more, because it started to get really, really violent. But that's my favorite pastime. When the weather gets nice, I think about those times. So nostalgic. So now I'm going in with the teal because I just want to.
Where you wanna go, 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 go. Boy, it's up to you. Tonight, make a reservation. I need a vacation with you. Tonight, for inspiration. All that stress you got release. Just breathe, better yet, just picture me. Set to see right by the sea. If you open up your mind, you'll see that rainbow on the pot of gold. You're a lucky soul, focus close. I'm in a 2-seat and a 2-piece. Jet please to the jet.
So now that I have created this nice kind of rainbow of greens and blues, I'm going to go ahead and highlight underneath of my brows. So first I'm going to go in that corner and I'm going to hit it with a little shimmery off-white color because this is so pretty. I really want to pinpoint all of the color. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a starker white right in the bend and out. See how the light is just hitting those little subtle shimmers in it? That's what I kind of want. I just want to go in the cleanest parts of my underbrow and make that look really pretty. Just from the bend on out. Whatever I do to one eye, I do to the other. And I just blend a little bit more. And don't worry about out here because we're going to clean that up real nice. I used to have a lash line. That used to be my thing. But now I'm really falling in love with not putting lashes on. I'm now going to go in with that real orange color, and it's like an orangey tan more so. And I go right under because I feel like that orangey tan really matches my true skin, and at some point you want to look like you're naturally going into more color, not that stark white starting there and then, you know what I'm saying? So we can have all the color in the world. I want to be real neutral right under my brow. So once again, right under the cleanest part of my brow, I am cleaning up that really powdered look, slowly going into that area, that bend, and then I will eventually stop. Kind of ombreing it a bit. Once again, I'm still marrying everything until I'm comfortable. Sometimes this line can be so good that I don't need to break it up. But sometimes I'll break it up. Like right now, I'm breaking it up. Like I said, this is a tannish kind of orangey. It's so soft that it literally almost looks skin-like. And I go right to the little bend of the brow. And I kind of stop at one point. And I clean her up. Don't be afraid to come down because remember we played with color down here too. So we're just cleaning her up, making sure she's perfectly rounded. Not too much, you know. So I guess I like the idea of minimal and maximum at the same time. So, and we're going to go in and blend that too. Right under where we put our little natural little vibe. And we're going to make sure that all blends in. Everything should be blending in. We shouldn't know where we started our project, if that makes any sense. I pretty much clean up the corner of my eyes. So I create kind of like a wing under my eye because I want it to be crisp, right? I go out because that's how defined I want that area. And then I fan her down. Fan it down because that's where I create that blend factor to where you won't see where I started creating that line. So girls, would you not date a guy if he decides that he doesn't want to see you because you wear makeup? Or would you change yourself more so and say, hey, I'll stop wearing makeup for you? Like, have you ever been in a situation like that? Me, myself, I won't stop being myself for anyone. For anyone. I don't think I would ever stop wearing makeup because it's something fun. It's not about altering your beauty. It's about fashion. It's about this is a part of your personality. You're bright on the inside. Why can't you show how you feel on the inside. It enhances your outfit. It brightens your day, and it also gives you confidence, because once you put so much effort into your look, why not? HD concealer. And baby, let me tell you, this HD concealer, it's not top tier. I will say that it's not my favorite. I actually like the NYX. Hence the fact that it's dogged. It's time for a repurchase for sure. But this is where I just put it on the very top to mid of my cheeks, because I want to create this illusion that I am the light. I am illuminated. That I am illuminated, that I am, kissed by the sun. This is where it starts to happen. This is also where you can start to put up a lot of your eyeshadows, and let this kind of cake up and dry a bit, because you want to be able to keep it in that area. So you want it kind of pasty. So what I do is I just clean up. All right, so we are creeping into the later part of the day. I really wanted to get that sun kiss vibe that comes through my window. And for the greater part of the video, we did get that type of effect. Just sitting, like I said, on the very top to mid part of my cheeks. And we're not going under the fold of the cheeks, if that makes any sense. Because down there, we're going to do something totally different. We're just stretching out the under of the eye and letting my face know, like, hey, this is where I want you to glow, and this is where I want the look to thrive. And I will kind of clean up that line just a bit with light taps. That way you don't disturb the actual definition that you want to create. All right, so you may look a little white in that area, and that's totally fine, because like I said, this is where you're going to really have a lot of fun. So I'm going to go in with my favorite foundation right now, and that is Kiss. This Kiss you can find at your local beauty supply store or possibly on their website, and I'm using 415. Okay, that is the mocha color. And notice how I'm going right under the fold of my cheeks with my foundation. I don't want to disturb that nice color that I've created just yet. So I'm using the most of the foundation, the newest of the foundation, on the lower part of my face, and really placing it and making coverage. Like I said, I do cover lightly on my forehead, but not too much, because number one, not only do I have this weird kind of patch here right above my brow, but I will say I sweat in that area as well. So I don't do too much, and I just lightly blot whatever is on this sponge. Peep how I said whatever is on the sponge. That's what I'm going to use to cover that kind of lighter complexion that I've just created underneath of my eye. I'm not putting new foundation there. I'm putting borrowed foundation there. Cleaning up that outer wing and lightly tapping with the very corner of my egg brush in the corner of my eye, and lightly tapping where I've created that definition. So here is where I go in with my chocolate palette. Now she's kind of be up, so don't come for her. But I would find your flattest brush and I would pick up the darkest tone. And this is where I'm going to hit the very jaw of my face, like underneath my cheeks where the slimmest of my face is, or the illusion that I want to create. I even go up to the very side of my eyebrow, the corner of my eyebrow, and go down. You'll start to see like a C motion, a little darker kind of hue right under that area. I feel like one side is more defined than the other. Let's see how we've created that kind of shadow. I probably went a little too crazy because I was doing it from a distance, but that's fine. I want to match whatever I did, so however heavy it appears, I'm going to do it to this side because all I'm going to do is blend it out anyway. Literally from corner of your sideburns to kind of the corners of your mouth. Blend her down. And we're really leaving some of that definition on that line there. We're hardly going to go in that area. Just looking poised. So now what I want to do is find a good blush. So we have a little bit of her on the brush, and I do like to tap the excess off. And right where we have that nice, beautiful, open space, we're just gonna hit the cheeks, baby. Just bouncing her off. I kind of clean off my brush by wiping her off. And this is good. It's good to bring a dry rag, a dry dark rag into your beauty space, because that will help with the clean off process. And then I go up, but I don't go right under here because I want something else to go right up under there. Because my cheeks are like heart shape and they kind of run off the side of my face. Notice how we're not really disturbing too much down here. We're just focusing right up there where those cheeks spread about. Taraji P. Henson's, and it is called Here We Glow Now. I like to get her evenly spread out, and I put it right there on the very top of my cheekbones. She's shiny, she's glowy, she has a little bit of shimmer. I even like to put it right on what they call a cupid's bow or your philtrum area, and go right under the lip, chin, and you can even hit right here, right in the very middle. And then I'm going to go over that with my NYX. This is an oldie goodie, but it has a shimmer. It's orange. It's the Ultra Pearl, where that nice glow kind of serum that we use. I wanted to pick up a little bit of that loose dust, and you'll start to see some shine come in. So towards the end, I just want to blend everything. I don't want to do nothing crazy, but I just want to make sure everything is nice and pretty. So I'll just touch it with my big round brush and That glow is really coming through crazy. So I do like to contour my jawline, but I don't do too much. Like, you know, I don't go in on the nose and do all this stuff. Like, I just stay in a calm kind of zone. So now is the fun part, which is the lip. Oh Boy by Rubykiss. This with a little bit of the Style Factor styling gel, and we all know this brand, and the top has to match the jar, and that really tells you that it's the perfect freaking gel. I feel like when you get the match jar, you're missing it.